Hey, welcome to the Commanders Declassified podcast, your source for Washington football Commanders information. My name is Eric. Our main host, Ellie, he is still on vacation roaming the countryside this week. Must be nice. My
Right.
guy Brian is here. He overcame his vacation to join us today. What's up, Brian?
What's going on, man? Everything is good. We got a special guest in the house tonight. We've got Rashad. I think you've heard him before here on the Declassified podcast. Rashad, what's going on, man?
I'm good. How are you guys? Yeah, at Damage DC fan on all platforms if you're listening. But yeah,
Oh, we'll
how are
give you
y'all?
plenty of chances to promote that. Don't worry.
Cool, cool. I didn't know. My
At
bad.
Damage DC fan, yeah.
No.
You already got more Twitter followers than me. It's not a flex at all, by the way.
We're doing really good. Training camp. We've got 2 days in the books now
Yep.
of training camp, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot being reported. I'll start off with this first thing. Eric, AGG, Antonio Gandy Golden retired today. What you think about that?
Is it really retiring when you've only played 2 years? I don't think it is. Like I think there's like a minimum, and I think it's more than 2 years. But he stepped away from football. I think the writing maybe was on the wall there. Although Rivera has been praising him how he's doing at tight end, but I think just suggesting a position switch at this point in his career, it's basically leads to a lost season because he's as a first year tight end, brand new position in the NFL. It's going to be a tough switch. I think maybe it was just AGG just didn't have it in him to do it anymore, and more power to him going back to school. Good for him.
No, absolutely. Rashad, what'd you think of AGG calling it quits?
I was. I don't want to say sad because when we drafted him, I was actually excited to see what we would do with him. But to see that nothing was really made of it, and we thought he was going to get cut last year, so it's not. It doesn't really affect the roster, but it's kind of like, wow, retiring already. We just drafted him in 2020.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you look at it and you say he's a fourth round pick. Granted, you're not thinking that a fourth round pick will automatically turn out to be a starter, but certainly a important backup, a contributor on special teams. It just seems like such a wasted pick. It's not surprising because, like Eric said, he hasn't played at all. I mean,
No,
he wasn't good enough to stick around as a wide receiver, and now to expect him to all of a sudden become a tight end and actually have to block NFL defensive ends, like I just couldn't see that happening. So I'm not surprised of it, but it just seems like a big waste. I feel like the scouting department needs to get a little bit better. They need to find guys who are committed to playing football. Like I know there's some athletes who, hey, they're big, they're fast, so they play football. But it's got to mean something to these guys. But very, very interesting to see, and I hope he does well. Whatever he does, if he's finishing his education, I think that's probably the best way to go. From that. One of the
I'll
other
tell you
things that
that. Oh,
uh,
sorry. The tight end room got more interesting though. I think Curtis Hodges and Samus Reyes. I mean, it meant a lot to them. I can tell you that much because it's one less guy they got to fight off to make the roster.
right.
And I think Hodges might have the inside track now because he's a giant. And giants just make the football team, don't they? We saw that dude is like 6'8". He's just a monster.
Sammy's
And Doc
huge
Walker
too,
loves
though.
him. Sammy's huge too. I don't know. I think it's more of the mystery of Hodges because I didn't really get to see enough of him. Because Sammy, I'm kind of with Ellie on this one. I just don't know that he's gonna do it. But
Right.
he could prove me wrong as well. He's actually on
I
the
don't
field
know.
now, so that was good. He was on the bike all off season. So
I don't know if you guys saw the story. Our good buddy Michael Phillips of the Richmond Times Dispatch. He had done a story on Reyes, and Reyes has been determined this offseason. He actually bought a jugs machine and put it in the trunk of his car. So wherever he was at to work out, he pulled out the jugs machine. His girlfriend loaded the balls in there, and he caught passes every day. So, somebody like that. I know we're talking about a fourth tight end, but he clearly wants it, and he's not going to stop. You're going to have to cut him.
Right.
So that's just somebody it's really easy for me to root for somebody like that who's putting forth that effort, and he's gotten into games as a blocker. Like he can block people, and he's aggressive. We'll see if he can catch. That may not be his strong suit, but
yeah.
he can at least block somebody. So I'm pulling for Reyes. What about you, Rashad? Are you a Reyes guy, or are you this Curtis Hodges guy?
I just want us to actually get a third tight end because we haven't had one so long. So I just hope now that we have two guys that you can actually look at them like, oh, they both can actually make the team. I'm just happy to see what the result is. Like I'm not I can't pick a side really.
I got you.
Yeah, I think you're going to have both of them on the roster. I think you've got a roster spot and a practice squad spot,
Yeah.
and I think both of them that's where they end up. So we'll just have to see how the preseason plays out. My
Right.
money's on Hodges though.
I feel like Ron's gonna find a way to keep Reyes on the roster though.
He might
Somehow.
be one of his guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Ron guy. Ron, yeah, he'll be the new Troy Apke somehow, and Ron will just come out and say he's the best special teams player ever somehow. But one of the other things that we've seen so far in training camp, it just happened today, was a big Carson Wentz connection to Jahan Dotson deep down the field. Everybody saw the video. Everybody's going nuts. It's practice. But what did you guys think of that? I mean, this was a 3-step drop, throw the ball out on time, deep down the field. Jahan Dotson looked like he was walking, even though he was running full speed.
Right.
And St. Juice just fell down. Rashawn, what'd you think of that deep ball there?
I'm not gonna lie, I watched that video an
Yes.
insane amount of time because
Same. Yes.
regardless of what you want to say about Carson Wentz or want to say about Taylor Heineke, like we haven't had a quarterback capable of throwing that ball in a long time.
True.
Or we just haven't had anybody capable. So just seeing it early, it's like, okay, we at least have the option of a pass over 20 yards. Like you have to actually fear that now. Yes. And I want Dotson to be good so bad. I just want him to be good for the sake of everybody else.
I mean, he looked so smooth when he caught that, and then St. Juice was just grasping at air and just fell down. Eric, what did you think about watching that video or seeing that?
Yeah, it was a great throw, great catch. I love to see it, but you got to remember that it was like one of 3 completions the offense had today. So I'm not super excited about it, but it was a beautiful play. It's exactly what you want to see out of that combination. I mean, it was a really nice throw, and Dotson knew what to do when the ball was in there because that was a tough catch. I mean, it was over his outside shoulder. If you saw it, I mean, that was a legit catch. That's an NFL level catch. So good on him. I hope to see a lot more of it, but we'll see what's to come.
Well, and Eric, you just brought up a great point to go along with it. So we saw the great deep ball from Carson Wentz, but you also mentioned the inconsistency that the offense showed. A lot of incompletions, a lot of drop passes, but also a lot of pass breakups by the defense. Rashad, what did you think about some of the kind of up and down nature of the offense so far?
I feel like in the beginning, defenses usually win in camp, so I'm not that upset. And to hear the players that are making plays, like if you're a Commanders fan, these are players that you want to hear making plays. Like I think I heard Kendall Fuller was everywhere. Yeah. I think Jamin Davis had a breakup. Either Davis broke it up and Holcomb caught the pick or vice versa. Like these are players you want to hear taking the step. So it's really, are you more so, do you like the defense having a good day or are you going to take it as the offense having a bad day? That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Defense usually kind of wins early in camp. It's later in camp when you see the offense start to come together. And also, too, these wide receivers aren't used to, this is not to rag on Heineke, but they're not used to the ball coming out that fast. And they're not used to coming out with the ball coming out with that velocity to them. So there's going to take some adjustment. Terry wasn't there. I think he had a couple of drops. So I think, it's clear that he's got the rhythm with Jahan Dotson. He's got to get that developed with Terry here. So, yeah, I think they're still working some things out when it comes to that. Eric, any thoughts on the kind of up and down nature on the offense?
Yeah. So Ron Rivera made a really good point in his press conference after practice, and he said, you got to understand that we're not game planning. Like we're just calling plays and we're running it against the play that the defense calls. And a lot of times, there's not, they don't line up. Like if you call a play and they call a coverage, that play's not going to work against, the play's not going to work, but they're not changing plays at the line or anything. They're not doing any of that right now. We're just lining up. I'm calling this play. They're calling that play. So in that case, the defense has the advantage in a lot of cases. So I thought that was a really good point as to, explaining maybe why there was more, of the defense winning today. It was just because they were in a better position to win. Plus, you've got a lot more new players on the offensive side of the ball than you do on the defense. Those guys all played together last year for the most part. So yeah, it's not super concerning. It's good to see, a couple of nice offensive plays, and you'll see more as camp progresses and as preseason goes in, as they start to, as he said, game plan, you'll see, more hopefully of the offense winning. But yeah, today, definitely not a cause for concern.
No, I agree. No, it's way too early for anybody to get nervous or to start the warning sirens just yet. Let's stick with the offense and go to the offensive line. There was a couple of things that happened today. I know for the first 2 days, Andrew Norwell, Trey Turner. I think I've read that those guys have fit in well, very nicely. I think Andrew Norwell, basically stoned a couple of the pass rushers a couple of times. I've always thought that those two would just kind of fit right in and be seamless. I know some other people don't kind of have that same thought process. Rashad, what do you think about Norwell and Turner kind of being dropped into those two guard spots and how they're doing so far?
I feel like they're two veterans that have been very good. We're not necessarily asking them to play at their prime, but just to be a good percentage of them and to basically let go of Brandon Scherf for the price of Norwell and Trey Turner. I don't hate it. Like, I hope they fit in well. And I saw Roulier was off the pup list, right?
Yep, Roulier just activated today off of the pup list, so that means either tomorrow or within the next couple of days he can start actually practicing and being ramped up towards full speed. Eric, what are your thoughts on Roulier and the two guards that we got?
Yeah, it's exciting. Trey Turner, I believe, was out of practice today. They didn't say why. I don't know if it was excused absence or what, but he wasn't there. So you had 3/5 of the offensive line today. Maybe another reason for the struggles. Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know that Turner is necessarily an upgrade over Sheriff, but I think Norwell is an upgrade over Flowers from last year, and I think it balances out really well. Both of them are experienced offensive linemen. They know this offense. And they're both, may have lost some of the physicality, but they are both really good technicians at the guard position. So they can make up in skill what they lack, maybe in some of the athletic ability that they may have lost. I'm not worried about the guard position at all, other than the possibility of injury, which is always a possibility. But these guys have been relatively healthy most of their careers. So really giving us no reason to worry about that. I think the offensive line should be fine. It's good to see that Roulier's back. They can start to build some of that chemistry. The interior offensive line really needs to get a lot of work in together. So hopefully they can get that rolling soon.
Yeah, I agree. I am really excited about Roulier being activated. When he's healthy, he's a top 10 center in the NFL, and having him back just makes the entire offensive line that much better. And then Norwell and Turner are pros. I mean, are they going to be Pro Bowlers? Probably not, but they're going to be solid starting guards. Like, you're not going to have to worry about them not knowing what to do. So I'm excited to hear that. But sticking with the offense, and I know this one's going to pain LE. Antonio Gibson was on the side field today. That's like the worst thing any Washington running back can hear is side field. Eric, start us off with Antonio Gibson's side field, hearing that.
Yeah, we got to do a wellness check on Ellie, actually, with Antonio Gandy Golden being on and Gibson being on the sideline. I don't think he's doing well.
No,
He can't be enjoying his vacation right now. Yeah, it's concerning. I'm not worried about it yet. It's the second day of camp, although he's had a month of not being injured, or a month to heal up. From his apparently he tweaked a hamstring in OTAs a little bit, and he's still, I guess, dealing with that. So is it going to turn into a Curtis Samuel thing? But yeah, it's an opportunity for somebody like Brian Robinson, your guy. He's got, it's laid out for him because there's really not another lead back. I mean, McKissick is an excellent third down back, an excellent change of pace back, but I don't know that he's going to be a load carrier. I forgot his name, little guy. He's adorable.
Jared Patterson. Yeah.
Jared Patterson. Thank you. I'm terrible with names. I mean, he's, we saw what he could do last year. He's a quality backup, but again, he's not a guy who can carry the load. So the opportunity is there for Brian Robinson to really get a lot of reps and to really run with it and see what he can do. That's exciting to me because he really, and, people say that he looks good in camp. I've heard, he's a really good, one cut and go kind of back. That's exciting to see what he's gonna be able to do in this system. And hopefully, Gibson get well soon, but don't hurry back, I guess.
Rashad, Gibson on the side field. What did you think when you heard that?
I started to understand more and more why Ron Rivera took Brian Robinson, because on draft day I was like, why did we take another running back in the third
Yeah.
round? And then seeing Gibson's health issues early, it's like, oh, this is why you took a guy like that could potentially carry the load if Gibson either comes in hurt or gets hurt in the middle of the season. But
Yeah,
it's not good to hear early, like before we even really get into contact drill season, hamstrings, that and the third. It's not good, but get well
yeah.
soon.
This was very concerning, right? We had heard the reports in the offseason about Gibson getting his body into better shape, losing some weight, gaining more muscle, that type of thing. And you're like, okay, great. He's starting to kind of figure this thing out, take his profession seriously. He was going to come and attack this season, and then he gets this injury. Yeah, it is kind of a letdown. But I think Eric's right. This is an opportunity for somebody like a Brian Robinson Jr. to come in. Brian Robinson Jr. came from Alabama. He's come from a highly competitive environment where he's always, guys are trying to take his job and he's trying to take somebody else's job. So, Gibson better not let this injury linger, because, Brian Robinson will take full advantage of this. Sorry, Ellie. Hopefully Gibson can, it's not serious and he gets healthy. But that the side field for any Washington offensive player is not a good place to be. Speaking of the side field, the former star of the side field, Curtis Samuel, I think so far has been pain free these first 2 days, and I think put a nice move on a linebacker or a cornerback today, and ran it in for a touchdown. Curtis Samuel, Eric, any thoughts about kind of how he's doing? Finally, looks like he's moving around, injury free.
Yeah, cautious optimism. I don't want to get too excited because it's 2 practices in a row, but that's a huge deal. But just take every precaution and get yourself out there so you're healthy when the season starts. I couldn't care less if Samuel plays in the preseason. I just want him out there week 1, healthy and ready to go. So it's great to see that. I haven't seen a clip. I don't know if one exists of him putting the juke. I think it was on St. Juice, I want to
Yeah.
say, but yeah, I'd love to see that. I've only read the legend, but I'd love to be able to see something like that, because, I mean, I remember the Curtis Samuel from Carolina, and he was that dude who could do it. And it's really exciting if he's a part of this offense, because, man, I really like that guy if he's healthy.
Yeah, agreed. He can be a special player when healthy. Rashad, any thoughts on Curtis Samuel and how he's looking so far?
I don't know if Terry was offering some, extra, I don't know, Ohio State bias, or if he was on the team. But when he, after that juke on St. Juice, he was like, man, I haven't seen a move like that since Ohio State. It's like, don't get my hopes up, man. Don't get my hopes up, please. For the sake, like, I've been trying to stay composed, like, okay, he's back, but like, what is he really gonna do? It's like the guy who's played with him before is like, oh, he's kind of looking like Ohio State again. It's like, don't get me excited, Terry. Please don't.
Yeah.
But it's good news for all Commanders fans, though, because everybody wants to just see him play. He has not played for us since we signed him.
Yeah, no, agreed. I hope he is better. To me, it's almost like an extra player, like he's an extra draft pick, because you got nothing from him last year, so you don't even, you can't say that you missed his production because we never had it. So if he can come in this year and be healthy, I mean, that's huge for everybody. It just makes everybody's job easier. Carson's, Scott Turner. So hoping, let's make it 3 days tomorrow in a row for him to be injury free. And then, switching over to defense, we know Chase is on the pup list, Chase Young. James Smith-Williams. I am not a fan of James Smith-Williams, but he's who we got. I think he took some reps at Chase's spot with the first team. I think they were rotating some other guys in there. But Rashad, I'll go with you first. What are your thoughts about James Smith-Williams? Do you like him as a player, or is there another defensive end that you want to see get some run here while Chase is out?
Based on the depth on the roster, it's basically, do you want this 7th round pick or that 7th round pick? So it's kind of hard to say, I want this guy over that guy. But I feel like we should have added, I don't know, a vet or just another player, because we knew Chase might not be healthy week 1, and we put him on the pup list. And last year we kind of saw the huge drop off. Like you're not gonna get a Chase Young coming off in a rotation, but the drop off between him and everybody else we were rotating in was huge, and we just didn't address it in the draft or free agency. So I was interested to see if they just wanted to let the guys develop or not. But I don't know how to feel about it because that's like you said, that's what we have, and he's a young guy, so he has to play to develop. But I don't know what to really say about him yet.
Yeah, well, you bring up a good point. Is that the team didn't address it, right? Chase got injured last year, halfway through the year or whatever it was, and you made no moves to do anything with it, whether through the draft or free agency. So, very curious kind of decision there. I know Ron is always confident in his guys, but Eric, what do you think about James Smith-Williams or any of these other defensive ends that we have? Who do you want to see kind of get this run here while Chase is out?
Well, I'll just remind you guys that the defense stunk on ice in the first half of the season last year and really didn't start turning around until James Smith-Williams was inserted into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
It's facts is facts, man. They played better when he was in the lineup. And I think maybe it was Chase working too hard, trying to do too much. Don't know what it was, but James Smith-Williams, William Bradley King, Shaka Tony, those guys are all here. I still think they should have moved Shaka to Sam linebacker, and I'm going to say that until the day I die. But I'm okay with Smith-Williams. Everyone knows he's a depth guy, but he's a quality depth guy in my opinion. Right. I don't think he's as bad as Brian says he is. Brian puts him on that Bobby McCain level, I think, but of hatred. But no, I don't have a problem with James. I mean, it's the second day of camp, and your star defensive end's not in. You've got your backup in there, and he's not he's not a world beater, but I don't know. Knowing that Chase Young was coming back, I don't know that you address defensive end with a high pick, and if you don't address it with a high pick or an expensive free agent because it's the same deal but more money, then you're just you're bringing in another late round pick to compete with the late round picks you already got.
Right.
Yeah. And the guys you already got produced last year. So, I'm okay with it, and we'll see where it progresses to. I think Smith-Williams is going to see the field quite a bit this year anyway. So why not let him get some run early in camp with the starters while Chase recovers?
Yeah, and it's not that I think James Smith-Williams is awful. He is a run-stopping defensive end. He offers very little in way of pass rush. Like, he's not going to rush the passer, not ever, not at all. He's good against the run. I'll give him that. He's good against the run. But when your defense relies solely on the front four to get pressure and to rush the passer, to me, that's an obvious need, right? Your star goes down. You've got to do something, bring someone in to help with that pass rush. So, getting a situational pass rusher late in the draft or maybe in free agency, to me, is kind of where I was going. And it's probably why I dislike a James Smith-Williams so much, because he's just a stuffer type guy. Hopefully or William Bradley King can probably get some run there. But
isn't Ife Obata? Is that the guy's name? Obata? Wasn't he the situational pass rusher I thought they brought in?
I hope he gets.
I might be wrong on that, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, situational pass rusher. I mean, you can't have enough of those guys.
Yep.
Those guys get sacks. But there's only so many roster spots, I guess, and we also were busy not addressing linebackers, so I don't know how we would have gotten one.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on defense. Like, we didn't really address corner. We said no, the defense is going to be good. We don't need it. Let's just get another D tackle, but we don't need anything else.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, and that takes me into you just mentioned it right there, Rashad, with linebacker. Let's talk about Jamin and what you guys want to see of his progress. He had a pass breakup, but we still don't know too much of kind of where he's going to land. And then, do we need another linebacker? Rashad, what do you think about Jamin's progress? And then, do you think it sounds like you think we need some more linebackers?
If we're going to run a 4-3, I feel like we need a third linebacker, and we don't have that. But I think
it's in the name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's in the name. The 3 is there. We just we just need 2. Like, the third one's just irrelevant. I don't understand it personally, but maybe we'll figure it out. But I just hope Jamin this year just doesn't look. I don't want to say. yeah, for lack of a better word, doesn't look as lost on the field. Like, because he has all like he's athletically gifted to do everything. He just looked lost on the field. So maybe he learns the defense. Maybe we can actually figure out his role. He might not look as lost. Because I think Cole Holcomb is very good, but I don't think he should be the best linebacker of your three. And then the third linebacker, who was designated to start there if the season started right now? Like, who would that be?
You're looking at
that Buffalo nickel.
Yeah, you're looking at the Buffalo nickel, or you're looking at David Mayo or Khalik Hudson. I mean,
this is what I'm saying. Like,
that's what we got there. Eric, what do you think about Jamin's progress so far, and then thoughts about another linebacker?
Yeah, I don't know what his progress. I mean, other than hearing the PBU in practice today, I haven't heard his name. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. He really needs to be a lot better this year.
He
I really need to see him, and I think he will. I think he'll improve. I mean, he's got a year in. You got to remember the dude only started 11 games in college, and then he went in as a starting NFL linebacker. That's tough, man. And for a young guy, and not everybody, and of course, Micah Parsons came in last year, and everybody gets compared to him.
That's just not fair.
Which is not fair. Yeah, but he had an okay season for a rookie last year. As on the rookie scale, if you take out Micah Parsons, he actually had a pretty good year among the rookie linebackers. But he needs to be a good NFL football player this year. He needs to be a disruptive. Like, he needs to make a lot of plays. He has all the ability in the world. You said it. But it's just, he's got to do it, and we got to see him do it. I don't want to hear about him doing it or hear what he's doing. I don't want to hear things about him in practice, what the coaches say. I just want to go out there, and I can't form an opinion yet because I haven't seen him do it. When preseason starts, regular season starts, the dude's got to start making plays. He's got like Darius Leonard ability. I promise you he does. It's just got to come out. He's got to figure out what he's doing. I don't know if he'll ever be at that level, but that's the type of athlete he is. And it would be really disappointing if he doesn't improve a lot this year for me.
Yeah, I think both of you guys are right. I mean, Jamin Davis is a first-round pick, and we're barely hearing his name, right? He's not James Smith-Williams. He's not Shaka Toney. He's not a seventh-round pick. He's a first-round pick. Articles, videos, everything should be centered around Jamin Davis, what he's doing, how he looks. But we hear nothing about him, and that is a little worrisome that all we're hearing about him is a pass breakup here or there. If that defense is going to be better, it's going to be because he has a really good year. So we really need him to get better, because we need more than one linebacker, which is all we run with right now, which is just Cole Holcomb. Hey, who's a good player, and I think he'll have another good season for us, but it's just not enough. We need other guys to step up. So hopefully Jamin can do that for us. But secondary, we've heard, even back to OTAs and mini camps, we heard how St. Juice looked so good and was locking people up and things like that. And for maybe the first 2 days, we've heard similar. Rashad, what's your thoughts about St. Juice, who rookie year wasn't very good?
I don't know what our plan was with him last year. Like, was he supposed to be a big slot, or like he was supposed to be outside, but we kind of just threw him anywhere. And then when we did throw him anywhere, he'd be on an island by himself. And it's like, wait, he's not that guy. What are we doing? We just throwing a rookie out there to die almost. Yeah. So I hope he takes the jump, but it doesn't look good because apparently Curtis Samuel juked him. Jahan Dotson made the catch on him. So it's not looking good visually for St. Juice, but I hope he takes another jump, because William Jackson has to be good, or we really blew all of that money. Because Kendall Fuller, I feel like, is one of the more underrated corners in the league. But all eyes are on William Jackson because we paid him all that money, and last year was not good.
Yeah. And I think a big thing with William Jackson was Del Rio not using him to his strength. So hopefully,
I can believe that too.
Yeah, so hopefully Del Rio kind of comes to his senses with that. But with St. Juice, Eric, you read something earlier about St. Juice that Rivera said. You want to share that with us? Because I thought that was I hadn't heard that, and that's a big thing.
Yeah, during his presser today, it was like just this little throwaway comment that he made, but he did mention that Benjamin St. Juice was lining up in the Buffalo nickel and looked really good. This is the first I've heard of that. Like, you heard about, the Derek Forrests
Yeah.
or the Percy Butlers, moving down there. But first, I've heard, and it could have just been a mistake or a missaying by him, but he definitely said Benjamin's working on it in the Buffalo nickel. So that's an interesting concept. I'm just wondering, like, I don't think the Buffalo nickel is a real position. It's a mythical. It's a myth. It's like Bigfoot and the moon landing, right? It's like it didn't really happen. It's not really. I'm just kidding. It's not really a thing. Like it's just whatever they need it to be. Is it a dime back at this point, or is it just like an extra defensive back? Is it a
Right.
who knows? So just because they said he's there doesn't mean he's going to be playing Landon Collins' position from last year. He could just be that extra defensive back that they put in the nickel situation. But yeah, it is interesting that he did mention that, and that's not something I heard because I don't recall. I may be wrong. I don't recall him making any big sticks or any kind of run support from St. Juice last year, other than maybe the play he was concussed on. But yeah, I haven't heard a lot about him in run support. So it'll be interesting to see how that defensive backfield shakes out. He did have a lot of good things to say though about guys like Derek Forrest. He said he looked really good in coverage. In addition to his special teams play. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I did read, Percy Butler made a couple of plays as well, although one of them might have been pass interference. But so I think there's some potential in the defensive backfield. But yeah, you hit it on the head, Rashad. William Jackson's got to be good this year. And hopefully in year 2, he will be.
Yeah, that's very interesting and also a little concerning that you're going to take Benjamin St. Juice, who's had a concussion or had a couple of concussions last season, and ask him to play a Buffalo nickel position, which, we're told plays near the line of scrimmage and is more involved in the run game where he's going to be, dealing with guys bigger than him. That I don't know if I like the sound of that one. Rashad, what do you think about St. Juice, who didn't kind of cut it last year, and now we're going to drop him in there to play with some bigger guys?
I'm starting to think that Ron Rivera is just calling the entire defense Buffalo nickel to scare the fans. So like, just you can put whoever you want at the Buffalo nickel. We'll just listen because you said that. Like I'm convinced.
Matthews,
Matthews,
Buffalo nickel.
Anybody, he's Buffalo nickel. Like we don't. I don't even think we really know what that role means because Ron Rivera just uses it as much as he possibly can. So I don't even know what that role fully means anymore. But in the way we think of it, I'm interested to see it because you kind of have to move in space, and he's never been like a really twitchy guy to like run up and make a tackle or run support like we said. So is it guarding tight ends or is he actually just playing Buffalo nickel? Like what does that really mean is my question. What does that really mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think you're right. I think he's just saying it as much as he can because people love to hear it.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about a Buffalo nickel that is going to play up near the line of scrimmage, that's going to be chasing down the running back and things like that, or trying to make plays in the backfield. I mean, the two guys would be Khaleke Hudson, who played that position in college, that hybrid role, and Derek Forrest, who seems to be a little bit better suited for it. But hey, if St. Juice can do it, I'm all for it.
Like I said, if he can pull it off, I don't think anybody here will complain. But I don't think any of us can visualize him playing that position.
No, I think week 1, Rivera's just going to roll out 11 defensive backs on defense, and they're all going to be Buffalo nickels. That's for a starting lineup. Nobody, they're not going to know what to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Jacksonville will be helpless.
Sticking with the secondary, our two corners, right? We know we've got Kendall Fuller. We know we've got William Jackson, the third, and we thought we had St. Juice. He's now going to be playing Buffalo nickel. But who do we have after that? We've heard some names. There's Danny Johnson, Christian Holmes. We've heard made a couple of plays today and yesterday. Even Bobby McCain actually called him out and said Christian Holmes, surprised him with some of those plays. And I know we've talked about Christian Holmes on our podcast a couple of times as a guy who could probably be the slot corner. Rashad, what do you think about who are going to be the depth guys behind Kendall and William Jackson the third at corner on the outside?
I do like the Holmes pick a lot. I think he's going to find a way on the field, just in not random, but Ron's going to find a way to put him on the field. But the way our depth chart's looking, I can see Ron putting more safeties on the field than corner, unless it's like complete, like empty. But three wide, I don't see him putting three corners out there because we have so many somewhat versatile safeties. And if you're putting St. Juice in that mix, you just added another one that you could throw in that mix. I don't know how many corners by definition we're gonna have on the field at the same time.
That's a good point about the actual corner versus safety on that. I like that. Eric, what do you think about kind of that depth behind Kendall and William Jackson III?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta remember Danny Johnson's here, and he's like Rasputin. Like, you can't get rid of that dude. He's just gonna always be around.
Finds a way.
And good on him. Yeah, he's gonna find his way on the roster. The kid they signed out of the USFL, Channing Stribling, interesting. He's got that body type that Del Rio tends to like in his corner. He's a long corner, long arms. So we'll see. He got an interception in camp today, I believe. So keep an eye on Channing Stribling. And outside of that, I really don't know. Dewan Neal's out there. He was there. Like, Corn Elder's still around. Troy Apke's going to make the team as a special teamer. Corn Elder got some run last year. Dewan Neal. So there's guys that are going to be there. Josh Drayden, first I've ever heard of him, but he's out there as well. And I think that somebody's going to emerge from that. But I think Christian Holmes is going to be a contributor, because we've heard a lot of glowing reports from him from analysts, and from now reporters are seeing it, and players are glowing on him. So I think he's definitely got a spot in the mix. And a couple other guys that might sneak on. A couple of special team guys are going to make the roster, and I think maybe Stribling would be one just to keep an eye on in training camp and throughout the preseason. He's going to have a real opportunity.
No, those are good names to keep an eye on. And with Christian Holmes, we had Corey Yates from Recruiting Analytics tell us a couple of months ago that he would and should be a steal of the draft, and should probably find his way into a slot corner role. So hopefully that pans out. It sounds like he's already starting to turn some heads out there. But Rashad, I saw you make a face when you heard Troy Apke's name. Are you a Troy Apke guy or not?
I don't know how he's made it. I never hated him as a player or as a pick. I just don't know how he's actually made it this far.
4.35
yeah. Troy has no idea how he made it this far either.
He's fast. I mean, he's got 4.3 speed, and he can apparently track down punts. Or he's a good gunner on the special teams. But I mean, speed kills in the NFL, and he's got it. So it's like being like a 7-foot center. Like, it doesn't matter how bad you are, you're going to keep getting chances because you're a 7-foot center. So if you run a 4.35, you're going to keep getting chances.
You got me there. Yeah, you can't really argue. You can't coach speed. That's what they say, right? You can't coach speed. Yeah,
but you got to get the best out of it, which he's thus far hasn't done, at least on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I mean, how is this the best of him though? Because if he went to another team, would he just become this great safety that was hidden? I don't think so. I think this is just Troy Apke.
Only if we cut him. If we cut him, go to Twitter, and every fan on there will be like, he's going to be a superstar. Then we'll never hear from him again. But I agree with you. Yeah, I think that he's found his niche in the NFL as a special teamer. That's what he's going to be. He has struggled every time he's been on the field as a defensive back, and I don't see that changing in year 4 at this point. But yeah, I mean, he's carved out a role, and I think the special teams coaches love him. So he's got a job. It's his to lose.
Was he a 3rd or a 4th round pick?
4th.
Okay,
he's the guy that at the combine, like Deion Sanders, like stopped mid sentence and was like, "What?" He was just talking about something else with Apke. So find that clip. If you haven't seen that clip on YouTube, go out there and find it. It's hilarious. Just do the Troy Apke 40, like Deion Sanders is like, "Hold up." It's pretty funny.
He ran what time? Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, the great mystery of Troy Apke. To go a little bit off the field, I think I saw a picture today. Fan turnout is and the picture was of 3 fans there at training camp today. What do you guys think about the low turnout for the second day of training camp, Rashad?
I don't know if I missed something, but when I checked Twitter, everybody was like, "Oh, this fan lottery is stupid. This, that, and the third." What was that supposed to like? What exactly was supposed to happen with that?
I think the lottery was supposed to be a way where they could kind of control the crowd, right? I think they were
Yeah.
thinking it was going to be a big, nightmare in terms of volume of people, and that the Ashburn facility isn't that great at holding a bunch of people. So they were trying to keep it from being too crazy and too hectic, so people had a good experience. But I think it backfired on them because
Badly.
they didn't have that many people in general who were trying to go, and then the lottery kind of divided it up. So they've got what you saw today, which was a handful of people there at training camp.
It's
So
also a Thursday though. People got jobs.
yeah,
I mean, I have a job, but I think the lottery is probably there was. I think you'd see if there was no lottery and it was just open admission, you probably would have seen a decent crowd because people wouldn't have been in their feelings about it. But also you're never going to have a big crowd on a Thursday at training camp. I don't think. Even in Richmond, I mean, I went down there a couple times during the week, and the crowds were. I mean, they were decent sized, but they weren't. It wasn't like sellout. There was maybe 1,000 people there, but that was an open invite to a facility that's capable of holding it. So I wish they would just close it. I don't. I just it's just another thing for people to complain about, and I don't feel like listening to that. I try to tune all that stuff out. It's just completely irrelevant, but people are going to talk about it. It's just another reason for people to hate on the team.
I'm gonna say it found a way to other sports media though. Like, seen it on a whole lot of bits of like, oh, look at this team at training camp. Look at all these people celebrating their quarterback, and then they cut to us, and it's like, oh wow, we make the news for being a bad franchise again. Like, this is nothing new.
My favorite though is that they would compare it to teams who were like in the AFC Championship or like deep in the playoffs. Like, look at the Bills. They had the the Bills were just
the Super Bowl favorites. Yeah, let's go look
Bills
at them.
Fans Bills fans are different. They're just a different breed. I mean, I'm jealous of that fan base. That's a really special fan base that they have. They have amazing. Bills fans are like Chiefs fans, but not felons, right? They're like good. They're like great fans, right? Sorry, Chiefs fans, but I mean,
but whenever you go through a table and that's like the ritual of becoming a fan, like you're just different in the head.
Yeah,
like
you're built different, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're just built differently.
Yeah, so it is what it is. I'm sorry, it sucks, but I don't really care. I wasn't there, so I wasn't helping the situation, I guess.
Right. They win games, it'll look different next year.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's there is no other thing truer than that. Win the games, people will come back. And if you win enough of them, they'll come back in droves. I mean, it's just that simple. You can't keep putting out 7 and 10 and expect a big crowd. You've got to win games, and you've got to win some playoff games as well too. You do that, people will come right back. One of the other things that just kind of happened here, and it just kind of broke, late this afternoon, evening time. Everybody's favorite Washington Commanders owner testified today behind closed doors, no subpoena. I don't like talking about him because it's a waste. But what do you guys think about that, Eric? I'll let you go first.
I don't know. I just got this image of him sitting there like Tron on Chappelle's show, just like holding up the FIF sign, like he's just not answering any questions. But apparently, he did answer a lot of questions, and he was pretty cooperative. So I don't know what to make of it because obviously it wasn't televised. And I guess if the transcript gets out, which apparently it will leak out at some point, or not even leak, but it'll be released. So it'll be interesting to see what that says. The key there is to look at the actual transcript and don't look at what people say about the transcript, because that's the worst thing you can do, because everybody's going to spin it however they want it. I want to see the actual document. I want to see what was asked and what was said, like as it happened, I guess. That's way more interesting to me than what, Mike Florio or, somebody on ESPN says about it, because, it's just going to be spun that way.
Rashad, what do you think about the owner testifying?
The fact that he found a way to make sure it wasn't televised in any way, it's just going to be a lot of hearsay until, like you said, the transcripts come out. But I don't know if this questioning is really making a push on getting him out, or are they just questioning him about the situation? Like if he goes through this and then just hides in his yacht somewhere else for another 6 months, like what did we really gain from that?
Right. Exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. if they subpoena him, he's just going to go out into international waters and hang out until the Republicans take Congress, most likely in the fall. That's what he's betting on. So, it's. I don't see this isn't going to end with him selling the team. It's not. The other owners are too afraid of him. He will not go quietly, and it'll be scorched earth if he leaves. In the NFL,
Yeah,
he's going
he
to try to
must
bring
know
down the whole league.
something.
Yep.
Oh, he does. I mean, of course he does. I mean, they're all in the same little cabal. They know what's going on, and I think that there's blue bloods in the NFL that don't want that type of stuff. And we always think about like the scumbag owners, but I mean, you got to understand, like these dudes aren't different at that level. Like everybody's got. You don't get to be at that point in life where if
Without
you don't have
something.
skeletons in your closet,
Exactly.
So
I mean,
as much as what's
they
that?
just look at the Raiders. They just had one of their team executives leave. It was about 4 or 5 months ago, and accuse the Raiders, Mark Davis, of the exact same stuff that Washington was being accused of, and it. Obviously, he's not as despised as the owner here, so it didn't kind of make the headlines. But it was literally the exact same stuff that happened here more recently, that we're being accused of, and they just kind of moved on from it. So, Eric, you're exactly right that these owners, they're all the same, and it's not because they're necessarily afraid of Snyder. It's that they know if they remove Snyder, then the spotlight goes to somebody else, and that somebody else could be one of them.
Yeah, I mean,
As
you're
well.
creating a situation. You're creating a set of standards that you might one day have to be held to once he's
Right.
gone, and that's what they don't want to do because nobody's getting off scot free in this situation.
Yep, exactly. Enough about Snyder. You guys, so
Talk about him
we've
all
seen.
night, man.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. He's just he's the worst. But you guys have watched and read all the stuff happening in training camp these past 2 days. Anything stand out to you, or anybody that you wanted to see more of that you didn't, or something that surprised you? These first couple of days so far, Rashad.
Hearing the Kendall Fuller like playing well, like I know he's good, but we never really hear his name. So just hearing him active and making plays, it's like, okay, if we got the Kendall that played here the first time before he went to Kansas City and got a ring, if we get that Kendall Fuller, we're in a decent space as long as William Jackson plays up to what he's getting paid to do. We're in a pretty good space. So that's who I was kind of excited to see, who was making plays that you don't usually hear from.
Yeah, no, he's very underrated. I think he's a really good corner. I don't think he gets some of the INT totals that some of the other guys get, so he probably doesn't get talked about. But I agree with you. I think he's an excellent corner, and I think I'm happy he's on our team. Eric, what about you? Anybody that you wanted to hear about, or you were surprised at, or something that you noticed?
Yeah, it's 2 days in, and the Sam Howell front is just silent. I haven't heard a word
That
about
was
that
going to be
guy.
my next. That was my second answer. I was going to say, where's Sam Howell at? But I didn't want to
I
start
haven't heard
any.
a
I didn't
word
want to
from.
push a narrative.
Yeah, we heard about even the third string guy throwing a couple picks today, but nothing about Howell. I'm just curious as like what's going on there.
I found a good one about Howell. He threw a nice ball over the middle to our guy Samus Reyes. Apparently, it was a thing of beauty.
That's the connection. That's the practice squad connection right there. It's going to happen. No, no secret. I'm a big Howell fan. I'm glad we drafted him. He's very raw, and I don't want him to see the field this year. But I can't wait to watch him in preseason because I think he's going to see a lot of action in preseason, and I'm really looking forward to it. He may not look great, but just getting him that game action because, Lord willing, he's not going to see any, in the regular season because if he does, the season is not going well at that point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm a big Howell fan, but I don't want to hear his name right now during training camp because if we hear his name, that means there's some kind of controversy and there's going to be some kind of comparison. Well, Howell throws this better than Wentz or Heineke. I don't want any of that. Let's let the focus be on Wentz. And the preseason, Howell can shine in the preseason and then go back to the bench right after preseason's over. But for me, I did want to hear some more about Jamin Davis. I wanted to hear more about him. I wanted to hear more about the defensive line, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, whoever it is that they are going. If it's James Smith-Williams, I want to hear more about his progression. If he's going to be the fill-in, Montez Sweat, I wanted to hear some more about how those guys were going to bounce back. Maybe not Jonathan Allen. He had a really good year, but the defensive line as a whole didn't have that great of a year. So I wanted to hear some more and see some more from those guys, how motivated they are in this second, or third year so far. But anyways, guys, anything else, Eric? Anything else you wanted to mention or talk about?
Just the usual announcements. Make sure to hit us up on YouTube, like and subscribe, leave a review on all of your favorite podcatchers, and Brian will fill you in on the rest.
Yeah, guys, please make sure if you're not subscribed on the audio podcast, you do that. And if you have the time, please leave us a 5-star review. It just takes a minute or two. It helps the podcast grow. It helps other Commanders fans see us. We also have a website, WFTDeclassified.com. We've got some great articles. Ellie just wrote one about Curtis Samuel and also about some reasons for optimism with the team this year. You can subscribe there. That way, anytime we drop a new interview, new article, podcast, whatever it may be, you get a notification. You're the first to know, and you can read it right then and there. Also have the YouTube channel. Please subscribe and smash the notification buttons on that as well. Rashad, you want to tell people where they can find you and what you got working on?
Oh yeah, I'm at Damaged DC Fan on Twitter. The D and the C are capitalized in DC. Me and my friends do a podcast called Sports Pain Index. It's kind of a lighter version of the sports news. It's not necessarily as serious, going a little more the funnier route. But we still talk about news and everything, but it's a little bit lighter than other podcasts. But yeah, follow me on at Damaged DC Fan on all platforms. Awesome. And I might be on here again. Who knows? I'm cool with you guys. Would y'all let me back on? I might be on here again.
Are we going to be on the Sports Pain Index?
Yeah,
so that's a possibility. We got to
do some payola here, man.
We can work that out.
We make that deal now. But no, thanks for coming on. We look forward to having you on. And Ellie, hopefully you have a good vacation. We'll see you back next week, everybody. We'll see you later.